Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about transgenic animals. 12.3 transgenic animals. So transgenic animal is one whose genome has been changed or altered by the transfer of a gene or genes from another organism. So example, this is the genome of an organism, and this is the genome of another organism. So we cut this gene somewhere and incorporate this gene here. So our new gene will be, a new genome will look something like this. And this gene will produce certain proteins which will be beneficial for us. So what is the transgenic animal? Is one whose genome has been changed. This is the genome which has been changed by the transfer of a gene. We have transferred this gene from another organism. This is the genome from another organism. So this particular gene has been inserted, which is from another organism, into the genome of our animal, and then this gene will produce some protein which will be beneficial for us. So now many transgenic rats, rabbits, pigs, sheep, cows, and fish have been made because of transgenic properties. Now, how can man benefit from such modifications? How can anyone benefit from transgenic animals? In order to understand normal physiology and development, in order to understand the functions of a new gene, we can actually use transgenic animals. We can incorporate gene in an organism, in an animal, and can understand what is the function of this gene, of a new gene. And also we can understand how they affect the normal functions of the body, how they affect the other functions of the body, how they affect the function of the lung, how they affect the function of heart, kidney, liver. So all of that can be understood and its development. Example, study of complex factors involved in growth such as insulin-like growth factor. For example, what is insulin-like growth factor? It is a hormone which is found naturally in your blood. It is responsible for growth. So its main job is to manage the effects of growth hormone in your body. Normal IGF-1 and GH functions include tissue and bone growth. It is important for tissue and bone growth. IGF-1 is formed in different tissues as a result of GH in the blood. So mainly IGF-1 is important for the growth of the body. So here, if we introduce this gene into the body, it will affect the formation of insulin-like growth factor. It will affect how the insulin-like growth factor will look. And in some way, it will not, and this insulin-like growth factor will not function properly if this gene is introduced. And then in the absence of insulin-like growth factor, we'll understand the importance of insulin-like growth factor, how important it is for our body. So by introducing genes from other species that change the formation of this factor, change the formation of insulin-like growth factor, and studying the biological effects that result, information is obtained about the biological role of the factor in the body. We often understand the importance of things when they are gone. So when insulin-like growth factor is changed, when the conformation of insulin-like growth factor is changed, we understand the importance of insulin-like growth factor. Now we can use transgenic animals for study of disease. Now many animal models are created. Okay, mice are created, hamsters are created. So these can be used to study the effects of a disease or effects of a disease causing gene. We have a disease causing gene. We incorporate it and then we understand, and then it produces a disease. So we understand how the development of disease is taking place in a mice, so that we can understand how it takes place in human beings. So we can study the development of disease in animal models to get a cure or treatment. We'll understand where it goes. Does it go to the liver? Does it go to the kidney? So we'll understand the development, morphology of the and physiology of the disease so that we can get a cure or treatment. Today, transgenic models exist for many human diseases such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and Alzheimer's. Another thing we can use transgenic animals for is biological products. So such human proteins such as alpha-1 antitrypsin, this is a biological product. We cannot synthesize artificially. Even if we can synthesize artificially, it is very difficult to make it and very expensive to make it. So we can use animals here. We can use transgenic animals. In this case, when we take this gene, that is alpha-1 antitrypsin gene, and introduce it in an animal, it will produce an alpha-1 antitrypsin protein. This protein is present in the animal now. We can take it out from the animal and use it for our own purposes. Now, what is alpha-1 antitrypsin? It is a deficiency. It is a deficiency. Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency is a genetic disease. Okay, it causes emphysema if the deficiency is present, which means it is passed down to you from your parents. It's a genetic disease, which means it's passed down to you from your parents. It can cause serious lung or liver disease. You get the disease because your liver doesn't make enough for protein called alpha-1 antitrypsin, and you need alpha-1 antitrypsin to protect your lungs. Without it, infections and other irritants like tobacco smoke break down parts of your lungs even faster. So alpha-1 antitrypsin is a protein which can be made by incorporating this particular gene into an animal. And when we incorporate this alpha-1 antitrypsin gene, this alpha-1 antitrypsin protein is produced. And this protein can be extracted out of the animal and can be given it to human beings. And then we don't have this genetic disease. Then we don't have emphysema. So transgenic animals that produce useful biological products can be created by the introduction of a portion of DNA or genes which codes for a particular product such as human protein alpha-1 antitrypsin used to treat emphysema, which is a genetic disorder. Now, similar attempts are being made for the treatment of phenylketonuria and cystic fibrosis. In 1997, the first transgenic cow, Rosie, was produced. Okay, this Rosie produced human protein enriched milk, which was 2.4 grams per liter. Now, this milk contained human alpha-lactalbumin, which was an important product for human babies, which was much more important or much more essential or much more helpful than the natural cow milk because it was nutritionally more balanced. Another example of biological products include antithrombin gene. Now, this from the human being will remove this take this antithrombin gene and incorporate this gene into the sheep, into the genome of the sheep or into this fertilized zygote, and then we have created a transgenic sheep. Now, this particular sheep, which has antithrombin gene incorporated in their genome, will produce milk which is rich in antithrombin. Now, in this corona pandemic, we are actually testing the safety of vaccine. Okay, so here transgenic mice are being developed for use in testing the safety of vaccines before they are used in human. So before we actually use the human or do clinical trials, it's important to do it in the animals to understand the safety of the vaccine and to understand the efficacy of the vaccine. Transgenic mice are being used to test the safety of the polio vaccine. Now we have chemical safety testing. So transgenic animals can be used for chemical safety testing. So what they do is, these chemicals can be drugs. These chemicals can be vaccines. These chemicals can be cosmetics. It can be anything. So transgenic animals are made to carry genes which make them more sensitive to the toxic substances than non-transgenic animals. So they are made to carry certain genes so that they are more sensitive to the toxic substances or to the chemicals. And then they're exposed to those chemicals or toxic substances and the effects are studied. Okay, so toxicity testing in such animals will allow us to obtain results in less time. One example of chemical safety testing is this is just for the understanding. This is not mentioned in your textbook. Don't write this in your textbook. Don't write this in your exam. So just for understanding. So there was a particular cosmetic called mascara. It was called Lash Cure. Now, this was introduced into the market without being tested on animals. So it made women blind, and it created horrific blisters, abscesses, ulcers on the face, eyelids, and eyes of the lash cure users, and it led to blindness for some. So it's very important to test it on animals before it is being used on human beings. So laboratory animals are not only crucial in understanding diseases, they are also essential in evaluating the safety of drugs, vaccines, food additives, household products, workplace chemicals, of cosmetics, water and air pollutants, and many other substances. So so lash care, the problem with lash care was that it was not tested on animals, the harmful effects. It was straight away sent into the market to the human beings for their consumption. And it proved to be very devastating. There are several other examples as well. So this example is cosmetic industry. So thank you for watching my video. If you did like my video, please like and share and subscribe. And if you have any doubts, please mention them in the comments down below. And if you have any videos in your mind, if you have any topics in your mind, you can mention them as well. I can make a video on them as well. So thank you for watching. Bye.